Love sports? Love culture? Well, I've got a brand new podcast called Take Line from Crooked Media, hosted by me, Jason Concepcion, and two-time WNBA champion Renee Montgomery. From the games to the players to the issues happening both on and off the court, we'll be tackling the important political and social issues happening in sports head on. New episodes drop every Tuesday, so follow and subscribe on radio.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your driver's license is important so you can get back and forth to work, get your kids to school, and back and forth to daycare. If your license has been suspended because you can't pay your tickets, you can't do any of those things. Let's talk about Chapter 13 bankruptcy. You may have heard the tickets cannot be discharged, but they can be dealt with in a Chapter 13 case. Why not come in for a free consultation? The chapter you choose will make all the difference to your getting back, legally, on the road. Let's design a plan to pay off your tickets and restore your license immediately. I'm attorney Travis Gagne. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle. A 73-year-old grandma in Florida named Penelope found a drunk, naked guy on her back porch Friday morning trying to break in.
Nice.
Yeah. So she had a very ingenious idea of how to scare him off. She removed her dentures and started shouting, "Grandma, no teeth," is what she started shouting.
What?
Oh.
New superhero, everybody.
Wow.
Yeah, Penelope, the no-teeth grandma.
She took out her dentures and just said, "Grandma, no teeth, Grandma,
Bro,
no teeth."
I don't care where you are. I would be terrified of that as well.
He did take off. He left his clothes behind and everything, and he was arrested later. Here's Grandma No Teeth talking all about it.
I always look first. I open the blinds. I say, "Oh, hell, that's not my cat." Grandma, no teeth.
For her part, Pedersen told me she was never frightened by the suspect.
He was just a dumbass.
Grandma No Teeth.
Can she be my grandma?
Yeah.
Sometimes you could tell, you could get the vibe of somebody and what their,
Yeah.
what their makeup is. And apparently she was able to read that guy properly.
Good old Grandma No Teeth.
I love that he ran off without taking his clothes.
Yeah.
Which would make it a lot easier for the cops probably to find him.
I would think, at that point, it's like, I think you're the guy we're looking for, Mr. Drunk Naked Guy.
We received reports of a drunk naked guy that's on the loose. That's not me. It must be a different drunk
He's
naked
just
guy.
in a ball huddled, and all he keeps muttering, "Grandma No Teeth, Grandma No Teeth."
What was going on in his world that he was naked on the back of there?
Dude.
You know what I mean? I'm sure drugs.
Well, yeah, she said drunk, but I feel like there had to be more than that, or I don't know. I mean, maybe it was super blackout drunk and just said,
I
hey.
mean, tequila makes my clothes fall off, so I kind of would understand that.
Solid point.
There are some certain drugs that make you want to get naked.
Yes.
Because you get hot and stuff. Like, you really physically get hot and just want to take all your clothes off.
Does she have a pool in her backyard? Maybe?
Oh, I had thought
Maybe
about
he was going
that.
for a dip?
Yeah, Grandma No Teeth in her pool.
What did she say? Called him a dumbass?
Yeah, she called him a dumbass. And I think she'd be
On
correct.
the news report.
Yeah.
I love this woman.
I wasn't afraid. He's just a dumbass. Yeah.
Grandma No Teeth.
And she's right, he is. Man. 2,500 people, Steve, they were asked to name the most annoying neighbor habits. I think being naked and drunk at your house, I think that's one.
Oh, I mean, in all fairness, I don't think he was her neighbor, though.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he doesn't...
What about no-tooth grandma?
No-tooth grandma could be. So, of course, they said, all right, what makes an annoying neighbor? And number one is indeed my daughter, Sarah.
For everybody?
Yeah.
That's just rude.
Well, she's number one on the list because blasting your music too loudly is indeed the most annoying thing that folks find when it comes to your neighbors.
Is she still doing that?
Oh, as far as that's the last time we got a complaint she was doing that. I don't know. Every time I'm out of town, God knows what she's doing.
What about annoying neighbor is someone in the household is just learning how to play the drums or the trumpet?
I think that would be number 6, loud kids. I think we'd put that into that one. Yeah, because you're absolutely right. If you have a neighbor that said, here's a great idea, we're going to get our kid one of those instruments.
Yeah. We had someone in our neighborhood for a minute that was learning how to play the drums. And I think they finally gave up on it because it just eventually just stopped. And there was no signs of progression to the point where I'm just, as a guy who plays the drums, I'm hearing it and I'm like, oh, come on, no. Like, it was bothering me more about how the person was playing the drums, not the fact that the drums were being played. But my dad, my dad was a session drummer. And, he grew up a studio drummer, all this stuff. So you would think he'd want his kid to follow after him, and he did not. And I think the reason why was he didn't want to deal with the noise. So he's like, you can learn how to play the drums, and you can play drums in the house, in the basement, or in the garage, but you have to stop by 5 o'clock or about 5:30ish. And it wasn't because of the neighbors. It was because that's around when he was going to be getting home.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to have to hear it. He's like, screw the neighbors. I don't care about them.
Well, that's a good point. It can be very, very annoying just to hear it over and over again, like you said, and especially if you don't know what you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah. And I wonder if he's just like you. They would have been more annoying to hear you badly play the drums as you're trying to figure it out.
I think it was a combo. It was badly and loudly.
Badly and loudly. Number 2 on this list of what annoys people. And like I said, they surveyed 2,500 people. So I feel like that's a good number to find out.
That's like half of America.
I think you're right. At least
pretty close.
Yeah, I think it is. Number 2 on the list, loud voices. So we had loud music, number 1. Loud voices, number 2, specifically adults. Would that be me? Maybe it's me.
I don't know what we're yelling about! Loud noises!
I am starting to now understand old people and why they were loud in the first place.
So deaf.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn how to. I'm trying to get adjusted to what I should sound like, because I think I'm talking at a normal. I think I'm talking a normal voice based on what I hear, but because my hearing's going, I'm actually talking louder and don't realize it.
But I've never really gotten that vibe from you being a loud talker in a situation where you shouldn't be a loud talker.
Oh, really? So far, I'm doing okay.
Not that I've remembered, but I know some people in radio too, because I think sometimes there are certain people in radio that just always project loudly and don't understand that maybe sometimes you should kind of tone it down. And I was somewhere with somebody, and they were commenting on how stupid somebody looked at a different table. And I just looked at them finally and leaned in and go, you're not talking that quiet. And they had the look of fear on their face. Like, what do you mean I'm not talking that quiet? I'm like, not only can they hear you, but I think people down at the other end of the bar are going to be able to hear you.
Oh, no.
And boy, they felt really embarrassed. It was just like, how do you not realize you're talking that loud?
I think it's the hearing thing.
It must be.
Yeah. And number 3 on this list, hey, look who it is. It's Sarah. It's good old Sarah again. Loud parties. There you go.
Loud parties.
Loud music, loud parties. Feels like it goes together.
Is it really a party if it's not loud?
Yeah, it's a good point. Though some of my board gaming parties, for the most part, they do okay. Once in a while, when Joey's there drinking whiskey, it can get loud, but otherwise.
Whiskey.
Yeah.
Okay, quick aside.
Yes.
My wife and I were just screwing around on TV, watching stuff, and it was in the middle of a commercial break, and I pulled up my phone, and I was like, and it was one of your videos that you did for some board game, some country western board game.
Oh, yeah, Western Legends.
We could care less about board games, have zero interest in learning about board games, but somehow we watched the entire video.
Why did you watch the video?
We weren't drunk. We weren't stoned. What? We just sat there, and the whole time, like, BJ should just, like, have his own YouTube channel of just you talking about new games that you played. Just you doing these stupid country voices. You're talking.
Were you hamming it up?
I was.
Oh my god!
Nice.
It was super entertaining. I have to give you props. Like, for two people who don't like board games and have zero interest, not only in playing board games but watching someone talk about board games, we sat and watched the entire video because it was just so ridiculously funny.
Wow. Well, thank you. I don't know what to say. I just think
do more of those. That's what I'm saying. They're fun to watch.
I would love to do more. Look, if that's all if I could, that's all I would do. But then no one's paying me for it, so I kind of can't spend my entire time doing it.
I think what also made me find great entertainment in it is that you were so hamming it up and so excited, and then the people at the table with you just they were like, come on, man, we just want to play the game. Like, stop talking to the camera and let's just play the game.
That's usually how BJ is when it comes down to these things.
Well,
I don't care if he plays the game or not.
Right?
I was hoping to get some drama because that girl in the video, she and I always have lots of fights in games.
Yeah, it didn't look like she was feeling you.
Yeah, and I think that the camera makes people a little, like, once people think they're on live, they could. I was hoping that she would just be herself, because she and I fight all the time. It's a blast. It is. You know the blonde girl I'm talking about, Vicky. Her name rhymes with banana. Yeah. Nobody knows who she is.
No one has any idea.
Her name is Tiana.
Savannah.
Yeah, it's Savannah. Yes.
Savannah.
Yeah, and my buddy Josh, who was filming it, he just does not like to be on camera at all.
It was very apparent.
Yeah, and then we had one of our listeners, Charlie, who's a big fan of the show. He wanted to come play with us. We said, all right, yeah. So we met him at Vernon Wells, which is a great country club for geeks.
Okay,
and they sponsor the BJ Geek Nation podcast, and we were doing those videos for the BJ Geek Nation podcast.
It's on the BJ Geek Nation Facebook page is where I saw it.
Yeah, so that's the if you want to check it out, Western Legends, and I do put on the old country voice.
I feel a little left out not being able to hear this voice, Steve. Do you think BJ could recreate this accent?
Oh boy.
Well, partner, I'll tell you this: you got to play. You can play as Calamity Jane, Wyatt Earp, any character you want with Western Legends, and you move around. You're robbing banks. You're shooting up things. And
It's so ridiculous.
I was doing it the whole time. I said, "Would you like to rob a bank? Maybe you'd like to go gold mining. You can go gold mining in this fine board game."
Sold.
Yeah.
And the funny part was, I think, and I'm not trying to be a board game anti-board game guy, but I know you're for someone who probably likes board games. Like, this stuff's interesting, and to me, I'm like hearing you do this. I'm like, this is what I ever want to play this game. This sounds ridiculous.
Yeah,
but that's what made it fun to watch.
Yeah, it's well, if you don't if you wouldn't want to play any games.
No, I have zero interest.
You have
after
no
watching
interest in
it.
playing games.
I have more interest in watching you describe these games.
Yeah, this was a brand new game. Our buddy Josh, because Josh, any game that's on Kickstarter, I mean, Josh usually gets. But this
it looked incredible as far as artwork and
they
detail
did a great job
and all
with
that. As you illustrated during your conversation.
Yeah, Colossal. I think it was Colossal Games, if I'm not mistaken. Give them some love too. Great game.
Next time you should wear like costumes of whatever the games are.
We did that because there's a company called Fly. Yeah,
it's already happened,
already
Steve.
happened.
Don't worry about it, man.
We should get him that video when we went to Flying Frog, who's a local company that's made some great games that have been on Will Wheaton's tabletop last night on Earth, and they do one called Shadows Over Brimstone, and it's a Western themed game.
Did you wear a cowboy hat?
We did.
Oh my god!
Because dude,
so fantastic.
They had all the stuff up there, so they let us dress up in all of their costumes, and we cowboy hatted up and did a video, and I totally put on the Southern accent for that. I said, here we are up here at Shadows Over Brimstone, and we're going hunting monsters and zombies and undead spider things. And I got a 6-shooter. That's right, buddy. You want to fight them ghoulies? You do it the right way. With a good old Colt 45.
That was what we used to call butts.
Yeah. Oh, ghoulies. Ghouls? You called ghoulie? That's coolie.
No, ghoulie.
No, I called them a coolie. You guys put G's on there?
That's what that was slang for butts. And when I was growing up as a kid, like,
did you ever hear little coolie? Anyone ever hear like?
Well, what about the monsters, the ghoulies?
Well, the ghoulies, yeah, that's why I thought.
Where'd they come out of?
The toilet.
Did they?
Right. What does that represent?
Oh, I
where
didn't
your
know.
butt sits.
I had no idea. I thought it was just like the ghoul. Like
I was
a ghoul was a
tracking.
ghost.
Urban Dictionary says slang for butt cheeks or ghoulies is also slang for your boys, private parts, family jewels.
Whoa. I never heard any of this.
Oh, I didn't know that part. Mom didn't tell me that's what it stood for.
Ooh, it's a British street slang that means a man's genitals.
Ghoulie is genitals now?
Oh.
Look at these ghoulies.
I thought bollocks was also the Brits have so many great
I mean,
names.
we do too.
You don't have the ghoulies to compete with me in this board game.
Hey, that's right, buddy. You don't have the ghoulies, partner. All right.
To go back to the neighbors thing, someone says the one thing that's annoying about neighbors is when they always ask for cigarettes because they know where to keep getting them. Ugh, from Scott in Auburn.
Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah. Hey, Vicky, make sure you maybe you should post on KISW.com the video Steve's talking about.
No.
Okay, thanks.
Maybe you should ask her in the country voice.
Hey, Vicky, would you if you get some time, girl, would you like to go post that on up there?
Well, sure, BJ.
City folks just don't get it.
Thank you, little lady. I reckon that's awful nice of you. I can't believe you guys watch that.
I can't either.
I mean, if somebody said to me, who would you name that would watch this video? Steve Miggs would be the last one I would ever name.
I kid you not, man. We were just sitting around and we were just in the middle of a commercial break of whatever show we were watching, and I'm just playing on Facebook. I'm like, look at this. and I'm like, this is what BJ does. And then we just sat there and just kept watching. I'm like, are we both being hypnotized by this voice? And just, it was great, dude. It was funny.
Well, that's awful nice of you. Well, that's awful nice of you, partner. Thank you. Might obliged. All righty.
All right, maybe we should quit while we're at it.
Yeah, maybe you're right about that. Hey, what happens when someone goes on social media to complain about their mom doing something disturbing? Oh, I'll tell you what'll happen. Another edition of Facebook Drama. You're going to hear it at 8:17 on The Rock.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle.
Now it's time for Facebook Drama.
And BJ, this is our opportunity to point out the morons that are on Facebook.
Yes!
This is an actual Facebook post. The drama unfolds because of it, and of course, we are going to act it out. So this time around, Rev, you'll be the original poster. You will be Donna.
Sweet.
Vicky, you will be Lewis.
Woo.
BJ, you'll play the role of Katie.
Nice.
And I will be Brian. So once again, the original poster is Donna. So, Rev, please take it away.
I just learned that my mom is doing the most messed up thing ever. Hashtag she's too old for this. Hashtag she's 68.
Won't she read this?
No, she doesn't have Facebook, thank God.
What is Mom doing?
You don't know?
Are you talking about how she just got a Brazilian?
No, not that.
Oh, well, if that's not what you're talking about, I can't wait to read what's up.
Is it that she's dating again?
No, Katie, you are not going to want to hear this.
You need to let Katie and I and everyone else reading this know what's up.
LOL, this is not your business, Brian.
Come on. It's not her dating again. It's not her getting a Brazilian. You can't leave Katie and me hanging like this.
I just found out that she's been sending naked photos to a couple of different guys.
Gross!
Awesome.
Oh, shut up, Brad. How do you know this?
Well, she accidentally sent me a naked pic of herself with a text that said, Matt, thinking of you. Come and get it.
No, period. Way, period.
This is the greatest thing I've ever read.
Brazilians, naked pics. Does your mom date younger dudes? I'm single.
Yeah, single and gross. Ah, Brad. Single and gross like my 20s.
That's it. He should clearly wait a year before he dates the mom.
Yeah, clearly. And
Because she'll then be 69 years old.
Oh, yeah. And if you really do want to have a heart-to-heart conversation with your sibling about what mom is doing that's disturbing, maybe Facebook is not the place to do that.
Yeah, why don't you say, hey, I'll DM you?
Yeah.
They kept it on the public thread.
Oh, I'll DM you.
Well, I mean, I appreciate that she didn't just stick with a vague post.
I agree with that. Yeah, she was right there, and she let us all know.
Somebody just texted, I want to see the pics. Next text, pics or it didn't happen.
Dang, you're talking 68 years old.
68 years old sending naked pictures to somebody else.
That's like Crazy Sherry.
Not only just one person, but it sounds like a couple of people.
Whoa, man. Wow. I don't know what to say. Maybe she's in great shape that she can do this. I don't know.
Hey, good for mom, man. She's clearly single, I'd hope. And she's dating, and she's having fun. She's dating in a new millennial world where naked pictures are part of the process.
That's what nobody wants to think. No kid wants to know that their parents want to have sex, want to do stuff. But, I mean, they're human beings. That's what they did. I mean, it's just like we parents have to get used to the fact that our children are going to have sex. That's a hard thing to do. So why can't the kids also get used to us having sex?
I do like the part that she had to read. Imagine, though, you have to read the text of your mom. Not only do you see the naked picture, but then you have to read the text that says, Matt, thinking of you, come and get it.
Yeah, that's the tough one.
Come and get it?
Yeah, come get some, Matt.
It's no subtlety.
No, not at all. No subtlety at all. You know what? She's 68. Who knows how much time she has? She has no time for subtlety.
She's got plenty of time. Most people are, she'll live a good long life. She's still got maybe like another 20, 30 years of naked pictures to send.
I hope you're right about that, Steve. But when I get to be in my 60s, you know what? Subtlety's out the window. I don't know how much time I got.
I'm not getting any younger. Come and get it.
Come and get it right now. Damn.
Could you imagine getting a text from somebody, a naked picture, like you're dating someone, and you get a text from that person, and all it says is "come and get it"? Vicky, have you ever gone that far?
Come and get it, just send them. Probably, I feel like I've probably sent something along those lines, like
"come and get it."
It's like, hey, why not?
I would imagine Vicky would send something like that to somebody she cared about, because Vicky doesn't beat around the bush, or does she?
Care about, really?
I don't know if she cares about the guy.
In that, sexually cares about. How about that?
Okay, that makes sense.
That's what I mean. So if you're a person that's like, hey, because that's the way guys love that kind of communication. It's pretty direct. We go, okay, I think she's in. I think she's into this.
I ain't got time for small talk. Come and get it. I'm 68. I'm not getting any younger.
I have my my movie buddy. Like, we will go and hang out like bros. We'll go to the movies. We'll go, just hang out, watch football together, bros. But then sometimes we bang.
Come and get it.
So I have to kind of specify. It's like, hey, do you want to hang out? And he's like, sure. I'm like, naked hangout. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, definitely.
See, that's nice that you at least distinguish that, because I remember, I think I've told you guys the story back in the pot smoking days before it was all legal, and you had to have a pot guy, like a certain person or a friend that could get you the weed. And the catchphrase was, hey, can I come over and hang out? And that was code for, can I just come over and get some weed?
Yeah.
Everyone had different things, like, can I go get the garbage bags? And I was like, it feels so,
do you want to go run a mile?
Right, like
or 3?
some random like code words, and mine was just, "Hey, can I come over and hang out?" And he would always say, "Yeah," and then I would go and get. Well, I think I got to the point where I was getting too much weed from that guy because he started thinking that we were really tight.
Oh,
so one time I went over there, and it was like out of a movie, man. I was just sitting there, and I'm like waiting. Usually it's a rather quick transaction, and I'm just sitting there. And we're talking about life and what's going on in his world, and his buddy's playing video games. It's completely like a sketch apartment. And then finally, I hit my breaking point after about 45 minutes of no transaction. I'm just like, "Hey, man, I got to get going. Can I get that weed?" And he goes, "Oh, man, I don't have any right now. I'm at a dry spell."
Oh.
He's like, "I thought you just wanted to come over and like hang out and play video games." I'm like, "No.
That's our code word."
Only time in my life that I've ever punched a steering wheel. When I got in my car, I literally punched the steering wheel because I was so mad.
Yeah, dude, that's well.
It sounds like Pineapple Express.
I was like, this.
Somebody needed some weed, definitely.
Clearly,
Yeah,
I had some anger issues, BJ.
Yeah.
I needed to calm down.
You needed to calm down, my friend. See, that's what you get when you don't have a cool code word, because he really thought you wanted to hang out like a buddy. Yeah.
Still makes me mad.
And Vicky would have said naked hangout or regular hangout, and then
It's like, do you want to get naked?
Yeah.
That's usually what I'll say too.
He could have been like stoner hangout or regular hangout.
Yeah, you're right. He could have helped out. Yeah.
So he says, my grandma's 102. I just found out that she still gets busy in the old folks' home.
No, she doesn't.
That's not real.
Gross.
No.
Ha from Junior in Kirkland.
No, Junior. That can't be true. At
Why
102,
not?
She's getting busy.
You don't think?
I
There's
can't
some
believe it.
102-year-olds that actually look pretty well.
I'm not saying that they look or whatever. It's just really at 102, they're still making that happen. How do they not break stuff?
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on the position. Wow.
I kind of want to talk to that grandma and go, so what do you exactly do? Because I'm getting older. I want to make sure I know how to do it right without hurting myself.
Maybe it's not like home run, if you will.
That's what I want to find out.
You think she's just working on hand strength?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like mutual.
Good for your grip.
That's what I want to find out.
Gladys is working on her hand strength.
All right. I need to know what to expect because I intend on living my dream until I ain't alive no more.
Do you think the guy is her age or young? Like
102, they got to all be younger. There aren't too many guys.
What do you think, 80s?
Well, 80s,
yeah. She's a cougar, man.
Yeah, she's couging it up.
Yeah, what's like 3 steps above cougar?
Yeah. Damn, I don't know.
Prehistoric.
I know, I don't want to call her
A
a dinosaur.
saber-toothed tiger.
Ooh. All right, she's a saber
right.
tooth.
Except there are no teeth.
Yeah, she's saber
She
toothless.
does. They're not real.
Oh,
That's it. Damn.
Fantastic. Good for her.
Yeah, good for her.
Getting busy still. Do you use protection at that point?
Yes.
It's just all bets are off. You're
Yeah.
102.
No, they
who
probably
cares at that
aren't, but
point?
you should be.
That's it. When they say it's like it's rampant, like sexually
Yeah.
transmitted diseases in the nursing homes,
You
it's pretty rampant.
Probably should. I mean, you got 102 years of grandma getting busy. Yeah, you better get protection.
Dude, those crabs have just like morphed into lobsters at this point.
That's a nice visual.
Well, seriously, dude, what if she had the herp from way back in the day?
Well,
You don't know.
it's clear that it's not affecting her life.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. But do you want to get the old? That's what I'm saying. You got to wrap it up because back in the the early 1900s when she was getting busy, right?
So he says, do you think KY is delivered by the truckload to senior living centers from Chris?
Oh, yeah.
You would hope it's in the vending machine.
Yeah.
Next to
Yeah.
I don't know what
because you
else.
can't use Crisco. I found
Denture
out
cream?
You're not supposed to use Crisco and stuff. Yeah.
Somebody says my buddy works at an old folks home. He says he has stories. It happens.
Wow. Is he part of the stories or he just witnessed it or whatever? That's what I want to know.
And you think they just freely talk about it? They probably do.
Well, yeah, you know what? You're at that age. You are at the I don't give a F age. I can't wait for it. I'm slowly but surely getting there. Just like that old lady we played, the old granny toothless, granny no teeth. She's like, that guy's a dumbass. Someone's at her back door. She's like, I've been around so long. And that wasn't a euphemism.
It's
by
a
the
different
way.
back door.
She
Yeah.
literally was at her back door. And somebody was drunk and naked and she was just like, took her teeth out and scared him. But, she's at the I don't give a blank age. It was like, you dumbass, get off my porch, as opposed to being really afraid. Can't wait to get to that old person age where you don't care about anything.
I wish somebody just said, I worked in an old folks home. I'll totally try and give you guys a call. This is for real. Man, I wish someone who worked at an old folks home could go around with a microphone and just ask about these stories.
Yeah,
I feel like you got to be on the inside. I don't think they're going to let us walk into some random old folks home because that would be awkward.
No,
Well,
easy.
last
Just
time
get
I
some
went,
scrubs.
What are you talking about, dude? No, admit me. I look like I could be in an old folks home and then I could be undercover.
Well, how about you take your pants off, you keep your underwear on,
Okay.
and
Please.
we walk you back in and say, I think he got loose.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be undercover. I think that's a great idea. Then you guys can go scope the joint and see who's getting busy.
What would you do if they put you in a diaper?
Put me whatever you want. I'm undercover. You know what I mean? Whatever you
Okay.
need me to do in order to help you get this scheme going.
I just needed to see how far you're willing to commit to this.
This sounds like a very bad Always Sunny episode. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I
it
wanna do
really
this.
does.
I don't know if we should do this.
One time when my wife's great-great-grandmother, we were going to pick her up. My father-in-law and I were going to pick her up at the old folks' place where she was staying to bring her to the Christmas or Thanksgiving, one of those. Well, we get her, we bring her, we put her in the car, but now we can't figure out how to close her wheelchair.
Oh.
And we're having a hard time trying to get it into his truck. We're forcing it. It got to the point where people working there thought we were trying to steal her. And we're like, so then we had to have this conversation to prove that we know her. And she's like, yeah, I can vouch for these guys. And then we find out that we had the wrong wheelchair. It's like the one that stays there that doesn't collapse.
Oh.
So this whole time we're trying to force it in. And they're finally like, yeah, we figured something was weird because you were using the wrong wheelchair.
Whoops. We're professionals, lady.
We almost didn't get grandma out because of how dumb I was about this.
Good for you. You know what, son? You know what, grandson? I always knew you'd be that boy.
Somebody says there's a lot of STDs in assisted living centers because usually it's 10 women to each man and the men are having fun.
Ooh.
10 women. Oh, that makes sense because women live longer. So you're a dude. You get your
How depressed
Sarah,
are you?
Put me in. Sign me up for a good one.
Put him in now.
Yeah, put me in. Oh, now? Are you kidding me? I'd be like, man, I would be like the guy.
Well, how do you feel though if you're the one guy that nobody's touching?
See, that would be horrible if that would be me. Like, there's like what? There's only 3 guys there, and there's like 50 women, and none of them want me.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. That's not no. I don't want to be that guy. All right, I
don't want to be that guy.
I don't want to be that guy. Never mind. Don't put me in. On Friday, Steve got this one wrong.
What volcanic rock floats in water?
Lava.
No.
Hobbits.
No. Hobbits?
Fire.
No.
Well, fire, I mean, if you have gasoline, it kind of floats in water, but I don't think it's a rock. The answer we're looking for is pumice, Steve, but you were almost... No, you really weren't anywhere close.
Not even.
No. You have a shot at beating Steve? Yeah, you do. 206-421-ROCK. We're playing Beat Migs at 8:47 on The Rock.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. He's here right now and has agreed to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. Here's a question from a listener. My house is currently in foreclosure. I've stopped making payments. What can I do to save my house?
If you're already in foreclosure behind on your mortgage, you can stop the foreclosure by filing a bankruptcy. There's different types of bankruptcy. Chapter 13 can help you catch up on your house payments if you're behind. It would mean that you'd have to start making your house payments again and catch up on the amount that you're behind over 5 years. You could also take off or strip off your second mortgage, which would help you to reduce your housing payment every month, especially once you're done with the plan and done catching up on your first mortgage. We could also try to buy you some time by filing a Chapter 13 case. Filing a Chapter 13 would definitely stop your foreclosure.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com. And thanks for listening.
Love sports? Love culture? Well, I've got a brand new podcast called Take Line from Crooked Media, hosted by me, Jason Concepcion, and 2-time WNBA champion Renee Montgomery. From the games to the players to the issues happening both on and off the court, we'll be tackling the important political and social issues happening in sports head on. New episodes drop every Tuesday, so follow and subscribe on radio.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.